And what did you make of his speech?
Disagree with the Prime Minister here, Peter. We can't meet net zero emissions without any option but to smash the industries that regional Australia relies on. Our cattle sector is a big producer of emissions, our manufacturing sector obviously, our power stations, our coal mines. These things produce thousands of jobs and they do require the emitting of carbon emissions, and so if we go to zero, we'll go to zero jobs. And I don't want to see that in regional Australia, and I don't think this is the right tactical strategy. I mean, effectively, this is like the 10-year-old kid trying to jump off his parents' roof thinking he's Superman. He doesn't have the technology to fly, and he's going to fall flat in his face. And we're going down the same path here as a country. We don't have the technology to do these things. We can't fly, and we're going to fall flat in our face if we keep trying to impose these costs on jobs in regional Australia.
But isn't there a carve-out for agriculture?
Well, there won't be. If we go to net zero, if we've got to go to zero, well, I haven't seen such a carve-out, Peter, but if we go to net zero, that means zero. That means everybody. Now, I don't want to carve out agriculture. I don't want to carve out any industry because I don't think we should be going for a mythical, fantasy-like target, which is only going to impose massive amounts of red tape and uncertainty on these sectors. The problem here is people now who want to grow and develop new parts of Australia, people who want to build a power station, people who want to open up a new coal mine. There's a whole degree of uncertainty placed on those investments if we proceed down this route. And the only winners of us going for net zero emissions here is China, because they're not going to do it. They're not going to sacrifice their own growth, their own development, their own industry. China will keep on emitting, as we've seen last year, despite their lip service to net zero emissions, and we'll be left behind.
So, okay, yeah, you mentioned lip service. So what's it sort of pie in the sky stuff? And I'm assuming here it's not going to have your support.
Well, I've consistently said this is not the platform I was elected on, and I don't want to see us smash regional Australia, smash regional industries with a target which is just not achievable. I mean, we've got to talk in facts and reality here. And the reality is we're seeing increasing aggression from China in our region, and our priority right now should be not be putting more handbrakes on our own industrial development. It should be trying to bring back manufacturing to Australia. That should be our number one focus. Instead of a global deal.
Sorry, Matt. I was just sorry to interrupt, but I was going to say he's getting, a lot of critics are about this morning, not just yourself, but other people as well. They've referred to a sort of patronising tone that he used last night as well by saying that net zero is not going to be achieved in wine bars and such places. Do you agree with that?
Oh, look, I'm not that interested in commentary about tone. Look, I'm sure I'm as guilty as the next person as sometimes speaking in a frank way that can offend the snowflakes that seem to permeate our society right now. There you go, I've just done it again. So I'm not critical of that. I think, I welcome and applaud politicians who are frank with their language, and sometimes the directness does offend, but we're better off being upfront with people. And that's why I think particularly right now, where we've racked up $1 trillion in debt, we're facing risks of conflict in our region like we haven't seen for decades. Our priority must be to reindustrialise this country and get back to making things so we can defend ourselves.
And what did you make of Labor saying yesterday that it's not going to stand in the way, according to Madeleine King, not going to stand in the way of new coal mines and believes that coal will be exported beyond 2050?
Well, it's kind of laughable. I mean, the Labor Party have had a multitude of positions on this issue. They've only discovered the merit in fighting for other people's jobs when their own jobs have been threatened. And so I know out here in central Queensland, where I am today in Rockhampton, there's a lot of cynicism about these last-minute conversions from the Labor Party to the cause of coal jobs. Joel Fitzgibbon, before last election, was talking down the prospects of coal, not particularly interested in supporting and defending the coal industry. Then he nearly lost his own job. He was happy for other people's jobs to be put at risk, and then he nearly lost his own job, and now apparently he's a convert. So, sort of give me some flexibility here to be a little bit cynical about these latest claims from Labor that defend jobs. I think those people who defend jobs in the good times and bad are the ones that win the trust of the people of regional Australia.
Okay, and just finally, Senator, I just want to get your thoughts on National Cabinet. It's agreed in principle to speed up the rollout of vaccines for people aged over 50. Do you believe that can be achieved? What's your thoughts and your reaction to that?
Well, look, I welcome the fact that it seems like the Premiers and the Prime Minister were getting down to business yesterday. I have been disappointed in the late parts of last year that a National Cabinet had turned into a bit more of a stage show rather than a workplace, and it just seemed like an ability that the meeting was a precursor before the Premiers and others got out and did press conferences to spruik their latest critiques of the federal government in particular. But it did seem like there was a renewed attitude of cooperation there yesterday, and hopefully that'll be the way forward here, because this is a logistical exercise. There's no need for it to be political or partisan.
The problem is confidence is being shot, though.
Well, I was always saying, and I don't actually accept that. I think the common sense of the Australian people understands the enormity of this task, and that hurdles and hiccups were almost inevitable given the unprecedented nature of what we're trying to do. The key thing is not trying to remove completely those hurdles and hiccups, because they are going to happen. The key thing is that when we do confront those challenges, that we work together to fix them as soon, as timely as possible, and get the vaccine rolled out as quickly as we can. I'm confident we will do that with the trust and support of the Australian people, although it's not going to be a smooth ride.
Yeah.